What's up? What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? God bless y'all. God bless y'all. God bless y'all. Welcome to another episode of Ron's Opinions Don't Matter. Um, I'll get into this a little bit. Probably won't be before y'all too long. But Trump tariffs. Why it's so necessary? Of course, I'm hearing, you know, China is complaining that it's having a negative effect on their economy, which is cool. They're not getting the amount of business. It's already affected their economy. My thing is this, is not, I'm going to say this, real talk. Nobody cared when this was happening to America. And this is the reason why I believe, in my opinion, Trump tariffs was necessary. Now you're hearing China trying to punch back. We're not going to be bullied. My thing is, it's not about being bullied. It's about being fair. And that's the whole point of what Trump is talking about. It's not that Trump is trying to bully China. He's saying you guys been taking advantage of America the whole time. You guys been getting fat and happy off of doing business in America, and it hasn't been reciprocated back to America. So you can throw tariffs on the stuff that we send to y'all. It's only going to affect a handful of businesses in America. But we don't do as much business with them as they do with us. Sorry about that. As what they do with us. We don't do that much business. So it's going to have more of an effect on them than it is on us. This is the reason why the tariffs to me was so necessary, especially to China. Because what people don't pay attention to is that China will still try to ship it through a third-party system. Meaning they'll try to either send it to Canada, or send it to Mexico to try to get it to the United States to try to bypass the tariffs that are there. But nobody's going to be mad at that, right? They just going to be like, Democratic Party, because they got a vested interest in all this. This is the only thing that makes sense to me. They have to have a vested interest in all of this in order for them to be okay with trying not to tariff China. Because they put more emphasis on China than any of them. And I don't understand why. Y'all see that China's been the biggest corporate of taking advantage of America. We have basically financed China's whole economy, especially when it comes to clothing. So why in the world should we continue to feel sorry for China when nobody felt sorry for Americans when we were losing jobs over the year and we were losing these industries over the years and all of these jobs been shipped and sent over to China? Nobody was mad about that. They was 100% okay with that. Make it make sense. If you come in on this live, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Appreciate it very, very much. I usually do what I call Freestyle Fridays on Fridays because I try to keep it open, but I still feel like this is a necessary conversation. I feel like this is something that we need to address. We need to stay on this subject a little bit because a lot of people don't understand in full what's going on. And we cannot keep running this country on borrowed money the way we've been doing it. And at some point was going to hit the fan. And it was going to hit home. That's why I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it. The fact that Trump put tariffs out there, the fact that he's trying to get reciprocated something back to America, trying to restore the manufacturing in America, to me, is the right thing to do by the people of this country that you serve. For far too long, all of these politicians have been more interested in serving all these other countries and not America. Forgive me, but I'm also, while I'm doing this live, I'm also on my phone trying to keep an eye on what's going on with the stock market to some extent. Well, my account. I don't so much worry about everything in the stock market. I worry about where my money is at and trying to maximize my investment. So If I seem like I'm a little with the phone, sorry about that, but it is what it is. But again, God bless anybody. Come in on this live. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. And it's a horrible feeling. I know people don't like it. They're looking at the stock market. Oh, it's going down. It's going down. Stock market will be fine over time. Now, unfortunately, if somebody had some intentions in the moment, like right now, and you in the red, no, that's not going to be good for you. And I get that part. But for most people that you ride it out long enough, you'll be fine. You know what I mean? If you're in the red, you'll probably get back most of what you in the red with. And it probably end up better. I feel like, it's going to take time to get this country back on shape, but we can't keep running this country on borrowed money. And we can't keep overburdening the tax citizens of America like we've been doing. And none of these politicians, they don't seem like they care 2 cents what's going on with America. And I'm going to call the Democratic Party out for the most part because they're the ones been pushing it the other way, by and large. And they're more concerned about all these other countries than they are about American citizens. And it ain't got nothing to do with skin color. It has everything to do with you being American. Right now, the Democratic Party is still more concerned about illegal immigrants than they are about American citizens. Like we supposed to be taking care of illegal immigrants. Like we are supposed to be the ones to split the bill for illegal immigration. Like we supposed to just be all okay with that. We supposed to be okay with people just pouring into the country and not have a problem with that, eating up and taking up and consuming up all the resources that are here for people that are born and raised there. And they seem like we supposed to be okay with that. We're not going to be okay with that. I don't care who you are. Nobody, it's just like letting somebody come in your house and consume up all your resources in the house that you worked hard to maintain and keep and not check them or put them out. Say, no, you're not staying here unless you bringing something, unless you providing something here, you can't stay here. And I know some of them might want to come over here and work, but my thing is, if you want it that bad, do it the right way. If you come across that border illegally, and I'm not talking about that, even the ones that the Biden administration was trying to do some slick way to do it. No, it's still illegal. I don't want them here neither. Send them back home, and everybody that comes over here need to be checked and checked the right way. Because it's a slap in the face for the people that had did it and done it the right way throughout the years. Now you want to say, no, no. I feel that for somebody that paid money and had to go through that whole rigorous process. What's up, Leah? How you doing? God bless you. God bless you. Leah, I still want to do something with you. As it relates to the subject you was talking about, as far as culture-wise, I had to go to work. When you mentioned it to me before, I had to go to work, and I was just like, I wasn't too sure if you was talking about right then and there, but I definitely, anytime we got time to collab on a video, I'm 100% on board with that, and I'm hoping that you get your channel up. But outside of that, because I think that subject is a necessary subject. But I definitely wanted to come on here and God bless you, Leah. I definitely wanted to come on here and get into the subject. And on the flip side of it, Leah, if I'm still working on it. You see how that last live went, but I'm still working on trying to figure out how all this stuff works myself. But even anytime you feel like you comfortable enough to come on my show and give your insight verbally without having to type in the system, you're definitely welcome in. I made you a moderator because one thing I can appreciate about you is that you're always here, and I try to spend as much time on your channel as I can too, because you're helping me to understand some stuff about what people go through. Definitely. But your story is very interesting, and I see how much of an open book you are. And for people that I never went through nothing like that. I've seen it happen. I've lived in an area where I watched it happen, and I live in an area where I see it happening on a day-to-day basis. But it's not a personal experience for me. And I thank God that it hasn't. But it definitely have it's helping me open my eyes about some stuff too. And to help me understand what people really go through. I've had family members, people that in my community and stuff as I went through. But definitely I think that you have like a very unique, and I like the fact that you're open about it. And even when I was watching Open Out the Pits video, um, I appreciate the fact that he was very open. I mean, and I don't think that's an easy thing to do. And I appreciate it. But definitely like I still have a life outside of YouTube and doing these videos and stuff like that. So sometimes, so we would have to schedule it at some point. I think I still do have your email. I have to go through my email to find out exactly what it is, but it should pop up somewhere where we can figure it out and maybe set some type of time where we're gonna actually do it and on your channel and see how it go. And that way I can kind of give you my perspective. But I grew up in a neighborhood where drugs was infested, especially in the 80s and 90s. It was horrible, horrible. I watched great people that had meaningful lives doing wonderful things at the time, and then dipped into that, and it just went downhill from there. And it was horrible to watch. And they had so much talent, they had so much gift, and then all of a sudden they decided to touch it. And at that time it was crack, but I think it was crack cocaine or whatever. But it was just horrible to watch. It was just horrible to watch. It was like, wow, I can't believe that somebody that had so much. And I'm definitely, and definitely, Leah, definitely. If you want, and it was horrible to watch. So I could give you my perspective, and I feel like regardless of what you're dealing with in life, if you don't have God, it's just going to make it more complicated than it need to be. And but if you put God first, it will definitely strengthen you internally. Because here's the thing: we all addicted to something, and that's the reality of it. Is that I don't think addictions in itself is a bad thing. I just think what you're addicted to is where it goes bad. And so like so I don't I just think addiction in itself, depending on where it's going to, I think that it could be a good thing. Because like here's my point to that, and I don't want to get too far into it, but like here's my point to that. Let's just say I made some bad choices, right? But now my addiction is getting healthy. Like I'm addicted to getting healthy, bettering myself, exercise, working out, working on my mental, and that becomes my new addiction. That right there builds strength. So I don't see nothing wrong with that. Like and then that addiction, the addiction to bettering yourself, to me is healthy, and that it's a healthy addiction. That's just my perspective of it. And so definitely at the end of the day. Oh yeah. And you know what, Lee? At the end of the day, we all struggle. We all struggle, and we all go through something. That's why it is not. You have to be very careful when you start passing judgment on somebody. You know what I mean? And I try to be one of those people that I don't care if you feel like you up here or down here. I feel like I try not to pass judgment. Yeah, you got to hold some yourself accountable to some extent, and sometimes you need people to hold you accountable to some extent, because sometimes you might lose sight of that. But when you start just like trying to come down with the hammer of judgment like you're God, then from somebody like me, nah, go ahead with that. No, now you're not trying to judge me in the sense of helping me. You're trying to judge me in the sense of manipulating and controlling and trying to beat me down and make me feel like I'm not, or try to think that I'm not supposed to improve myself. No, I'm at that point. I don't even want to hear what you got to say. You become like when you watch Charlie Brown. And they be like, wah, 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 and that's what it becomes to me. It's like, I turn it off. And I might be sitting there listening to you, but all I hear is wah, 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 wah. Because at that point, I realize that once I realize what the intent is behind of what you're doing, I no longer am consuming the information at that point. I'll let you talk. But I've already decided in my head that it is not helpful, and I'm good. Exactly. I don't, I try, I mean, don't get me wrong. We all might make a mistake in judging somebody to some extent, but I try to internally not try to judge people, and I have to be watchful of what I'm doing to make sure I don't come off as that type of person. I'm not saying I'm 100% perfect in that, and I think everybody within reason understand that even no matter how much you try not to, within reason, sometimes you might make the mistake in coming off that way. But my point is that internally we should not try to be that way because sometimes, a lot of times, that's not helping anybody, and that's real talk. It's like I like even when I'm on these lives and I'm on these videos, and some people that come in and might not agree with me personally in my political stance or my stance on guns or my stance on life or my stance on investment or my stance on it. I'm okay with the difference. I let people be as free as I can on this channel, but there's sometimes I have to say, okay, y'all gonna have to will it back, or I might remove their comments because I just feel like you just went too far. That tells me that maybe you don't have enough discipline in yourself to bring it back some. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? But Leah, God bless you. Even though I haven't personally had that experience, I appreciate what you're doing, and I encourage you to please don't stop. The world needs your story, and I don't know what plucked your heart or where it ever happened with your relationship with God, but I feel like don't let Satan take away your joy. Don't let Satan take away what it is that you're doing and what God put in your heart to do. It might look small to some extent, insignificant, and to some extent because you might be in the infancy stages of it. But at some point, it's going to reach further than you thought it would, or maybe had in your head that it would. And all you did was just kept going. And my encouragement to you is to just keep going. Don't ever stop. Don't ever stop. And that's real talk. But yeah, as it relates to as it relates to getting back to the story of China. But it's all good. But I appreciate it. I'm glad at some point or another that I'm able to help. I'm glad at some point I'm able to help, and I don't want to see people give up on something that I think is necessary or I think that the world needs. You know what I mean? But I don't know, Leah, if you've seen the situation with China and them. I mean, I don't know how true this story is, but they talk about how the economy, because of the Trump tariffs, is somewhat collapsing. But my thing is this: is that I watched America throughout my years, and those type of businesses start to collapse and struggle and not make waves. And to some extent, China gonna be okay at some point, but y'all gonna have to feel it until y'all come to until your leadership comes to the table with fair agreement. And that's all Trump was asking for. He's not. I hate when the media try to say, "Oh, he's bullying these countries." No, let's be fair. That's it. Let's be fair. If it's five of us in the room and we got to split this pie evenly, cut it as even as possible, so everybody can have their fair share. No one should be walking out of that room with the vast majority of that pie just because they want to be greedy. And that's what China's been doing to America. They've been greedy. And they don't want to let go of that. Just like as it relates to government wasteful spending and stuff. I always say the ones that's crying and making the most noise is the one that's getting the most out of it. And that's real talk. And that's all. And that's real talk. If you look at all of the Democrats right now, that was when Elon Musk went in and he started cleaning up Doge. They was having a fit. They were having a fit. They were having a fit. But I want y'all to notice what's been going on lately. They're not as loud as they used to be. Because they realizing that nobody's falling for it. So now they're probably searching for a new strategy. And my thing is this, they've been loud, screaming and hollering. All Doge is this, is Doge is that. And what they did was now they're trying to make it look like they're that they have bigger support than they really have by thrusting these people around the country to try to protest, to try to get people angry and emotionally involved, like they always do, for us to get mad and say, oh, this and that. Because, like, they're trying to say that Trump is cutting Medicare and Medicaid, when they know 100% that's not true. Now, are they cutting people out of Medicare that ain't supposed to be there? Yeah. Are they cutting the people out of Medicare that ain't supposed to be getting checks? Yes. But if you're an American citizen and you work for it, the only people that should be getting it is the ones that earn it. That's it. No 150-year-old person should be getting checks. No 4-month-old baby should be getting checks. It just don't make sense. And this is the part that they act like they don't see. They act like they do not see this, and they still, because to me, if you that mad, that means you are the one that was a 4-year-old baby. 4-month-old baby. You are the one that was getting the money that was supposed to be 150 years old. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. If this money been going to these type of people and somebody's cashing these checks and spending this money, who are those people? Those are the ones we need to find out. First of all, if you live to 150 years old, we need to know how you did it. And if you earn Social Security payments at 4 years old, we need to learn how you did it. But this is my point. No, none of them even care about that part. All they care about is what they want. And that's why it tells me that the vast majority of the ones that's making the noise is the ones that's benefit the most. And now that you see China is making the most noise out of all these other countries, they all say, oh, you know what, let's come to the table. Over 50, I think almost 70 countries. Okay, let's come to the table. Let's talk about it. Let's come to some type of sort of negotiation. China making the biggest noise. That tells me that you're getting the biggest part of the pie, and you know it's not fair, but you don't want to give it up because of how well y'all been doing off of it. Same thing with these Democratic politicians. The ones that's making the most noise is the ones that benefit financially the most from it. Because you wouldn't care 2 cents to that level if you knew that it was wasteful spending and you cared about your American citizens. You'd be like, no, we need to do that. So, yeah, we're good. That's exactly what we need to do. I'm glad somebody's doing it. Make sure that we're putting the money is going to the people that earn it and not people that should not be getting it. But yet we're sending we got millions of people that from all foreign lands getting checks from America. How is that possible? Why is that okay? And all of these politicians, when they was in office years ago, said that this, they all said it. They all said it was happening. But none of them did anything about it. But now that Trump is doing something about it, y'all not mad that he's doing something about it. Y'all just mad because he was the only one that actually did something about it and doing something about it. Y'all didn't never do it. Y'all mad because y'all didn't have the balls to do it. So now y'all mad at him because y'all had opportunity. Y'all was there longer than he was. Y'all could have easily have done this stuff a long time ago, but y'all chose to ignore it. Because every time y'all went to go do it, Wall Street was like, no, we ain't doing that. Wall Street came back and put pressure on y'all, and y'all folded back again every single time. That's why I'm hoping Trump don't fold. Like, it is what it is. We know that the stock market was going to take a hit. We know that this is necessary in order to bring back jobs in America. I'm 100% okay with it. I'll keep investing my money. It is what it is. I do not care. I'll ride it out for the long term because I want to see these industries come back to America, because that way they're going to be the one. China's going to charge what they want to charge anyway. They ain't buying that much stuff from America anyway, so why I care? Yes, maybe Ford might be affected, or auto industry to some extent may be affected. But my thing is this: build better quality cars, sell more of them over here in America. My thing is, you got foreigners that sell cars over here in America. Outdo them. And then you'll make up for the difference for what these companies are getting. Just outdo them right here in America. Bring down the price of the cars that you're building. Make them better quality and give people more bang for their buck and a more reliable vehicle, and kill that industry in America, and y'all become the front runner of American businesses. You got an opportunity to do it because we are right now in America First agenda. So if you know that's America First agenda, then you need to capitalize in America and not be so much worried about what you're selling in China. That's all you need to do. It ain't that hard to fix that. Get more business in America and kill a lot of these foreign countries that's getting the money that they're making over in America. Build and make better product and flood the market so they don't have an opportunity to outdo you. That's it. That's all you got to do. The $20 trillion market in America. If you own making building cars in America, then you find out what Americans want. And I'm not saying ignore all these other countries, but right now, if you know that it's an America first agenda, if I'm the one building cars and making cars in America, I'm going to flood the market. I'm going to make sure, as a Ford Motor Company or a GM Motor Company, that I am going to get the vast percentage of that market before anybody else does from any other country. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. If I was in the clothing industry, knowing that we're doing this, and while China is slowing down production and slowing down this and slowing down that, if I was producing and making clothes right now, I would be ramping up. I will be ramping up and warehousing and say, you know what? I'm going to flood the American market with so much stuff that I can sell it as cheap as anybody else, and I'm going to capitalize on it. That's what I would do. It would be an extreme risk, but that's what I would do. I would be on YouTube. I will find all big YouTubers. I will find all big people that do stuff on YouTube and stuff like that. And I would advertise everywhere you go, you're going to see that product. Right here in America. And I would capitalize on it right now. Instead of making noise, capitalize. Instead of complaining, alter your business model so that you can capitalize. Simple as that. But, you know, they won't complain, whatever case may be. I don't know. That's just what I would do. But anyway, I'm not going to be on here too long. Just wanted to get on here and I might come back later on and redo my Freestyle Fridays. But I just felt like I need to get this out before it loses the brain of mine. But outside of anything else, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. God bless everybody that was on this live. Lee, you have a blessed day. I can't wait till one day we get to get together to make our lives together, whatever, and get to the culture, the subject that you was talking about, which is the culture divide. I know there's more to the subject. I'm just kind of saying whatever, but hopefully you have a blessed, wonderful day, everybody. Y'all have a wonderful day. Make sure that y'all make God first, and y'all have a blessed day. Peace.